channel. I'm Julianne and we are back at it with another Plan With Me, and this time it's so exciting because it is the yearly setup. This is literally my favorite setup of the entire year because it's like a dedicated time to sit down, reflect on the year, get a little cozy, and start planning for the new year. And I just love that feeling of like new opportunities and a fresh start. Also, it just makes you feel like you kind of have your shit together, so I love that feeling. If you're here to plan with me, make sure you have your bullet journal ready, and if you're here just to hang out, make sure you have a snack, a warm beverage because it's cold outside, and let's get on with the video. Hello, voiceover me here. I am so sorry I'm a bit under the weather, so my voice is a little bit more gross than usual. Instead of just a normal California vocal fry I already have, we have like this nice gross situation of sickness right on top of it, so I apologize. Anyways, as always, we are getting started with the cover page. This year we're cracking open a new journal from Notebook Therapy, and I'm not sponsored, I didn't get it for free. This is a journal I bought because I love it. First, the color is everything. It is my favorite color, and also it is a little bit smaller than my Yop and Tom journal, which I used last year, which is what I prefer. I don't want it to be too big. This is the perfect size for me. And for the rest of the setup, I'll be using my trusty Tombow Duo brush pens, as well as my Pigma Microns in 01 and 03. For yearly setups, I love going very minimal, but of course still keeping things cute. That's what we're here for, the girlies, gays, and theys. We just love the cute. We biblically need it. I love the fresh start in keeping things clean, which is kind of my new philosophy for bullet journaling anyways. This thing is meant to work for me and not be a black hole for my time. So for this spread, we're going pretty simple, pretty neutral. No colors really stood out to me this year, and I was starting to feel that stress to be like needlessly creative, so I just needed to get started. And neutrals are the simplest thing you can possibly do. There is like literally zero decision making in going neutrals. I'm also going to be using this cute sticker sheet set that I made, which will be available in my shop. It's just really simple daisy theme, and I'm kind of in love with it because this is like the part of the sticker sheets that I love. It's like the little things that you put in between the big main stickers. They're kind of the fluff, but they're also the best because they really pull everything together, and I thought, why not just make an entire spread or sticker sheet based on that kind of idea? Moving on from the cover page, we're going to get started with the future log. I love the future log because it's such a great place to just get a look at my entire year. Being able to look at your entire year at a glance is so powerful because it really puts time into perspective. Things become less wishy-washy, for lack of a better word. And they just become more real, so you can maximize your time. Instead of just like thinking, do I have time for a vacation? Do I have time to visit this person or that person? You can look at your entire year and see exactly how much time you have. And yeah, that can be like kind of daunting and existential. But it's also incredibly freeing because you really see how much time you truly have, and you can use every bit of that precious time to spend time with your loved ones or do things you've always wanted to do. So it's not just like a productivity thing to be like, this is how much I'm working, this is how much work I can squeeze in. It's more so like, this is how much work I can squeeze in while balancing my real life. And I feel like you actually find that you have way more free time than you ever thought you did. So that's really nice. So what I'm doing for this is I'm going to be making a Dutch door spread. Each like Dutch door, I suppose, every page that you flip by is going to have 4 months. So we're going to have 3 in total. And I'm going to keep this page pretty simple, just adding some cute labeling at the top. That will be most of the garnish for this page. And each column is going to be numbered 1 through 31 for the days of the month. And yes, I said each column because I like keeping it that way. If I just only do the one all the way in the left, then if you go all the way to the right, I no longer really know what day I'm in. But for the purposes of the video, I think I only like numbered 2 columns because that's just boring content. You don't want to see me numbering a bunch of columns. Also, if you have anxiety about like jotting things down in pen that are very movable because like, I don't know, life happens, sometimes events move. I actually do this page in mostly pencil and some things I do in pen, but I also keep a version of this as a Google Sheet attached to my Google Calendar. If you've been following me for a while, I've completely ditched the bullet journal calendar in favor of the Google Calendar because it's just easier to integrate into my everyday life. I don't always have my bullet journal on me, so sometimes I need to take a look at things online, digitally on my phone. So that's why I have one of these on Google Sheets, just in case I'm somewhere and someone asks me to do something, or I don't know, I want to plan a little bit, I'll just do it into my Google Sheets. And sometimes I only have my journal, or I just only want to look at my journal, so I can just look in there and see what's going on. I think it's good to have a little bit of redundancy. Like I have my Google Calendar, but I also have like this giant whiteboard calendar in the back. And that's also very helpful as a giant representation of what I need to do for the day or the month. I don't know about you guys, but my schedule is constantly changing. If you watch my videos in the past, you'll know that I go to a lot of different conventions throughout the year, and that is a big source of income for me. I would say right now my online shop and my conventions are about 50-50 of my income. And unfortunately, there is like no standard, I guess, like application process or like standard time to hear back from an application for conventions. Everyone kind of just does whatever they want, like willy-nilly, the people in charge of these like artist alleys at these conventions. So it gets very last minute very often. I kind of have to be willing to travel in a moment's notice, especially if I want to, like take part in that income. Like, yeah, I could always say no, but then that means I'm saying no to like thousands of dollars. And in this economy, girl, I need those. I need that money. So sometimes I have a little bit of calendar anxiety because I have to be able to drop and go at any moment, and then everything in my calendar has to move. But I'm really trying to find like a balance with that this year, with this like yearly setup and this future log, and also my existing calendar. I'm really just trying to like have things like established, but also be willing to move it around. There has to be like some kind of like cute medium in there, and I really desperately need to accept it like really soon. Moving on to my absolute favorite page of the yearly setup, we are setting up my yearly goals page or resolutions, whatever tickles your fancy. I don't really like that. I can't believe I just said that. Whatever your preference is. Right off the bat, I'm dividing up the page into 4 sections, one for finance, career, personal, and health. Those to me are like the 4 biggies, the 4 pillars of life. I don't know if that says a lot about me and what I prioritize, but I think that's like pretty normal. I think that's normal. Before filming this setup, I took the time to use my old bullet journal and just write down all the goals I can possibly think of that I might want to accomplish. After this brain dump, I organized them in terms of what I think is most important and separated them into different categories. I think this is really important to do because as hyped as we are for the new year and a new start, we just can't possibly accomplish everything on that list. It is kind of wild to even like attempt accomplishing every single goal on like a giant brain dump of resolutions. So I find it really important for myself to just really narrow things down to like 2 or 3 really important goals in each category, and I don't know, maybe add like 1 or 2 just for fun to see if you can get around to it. This way you're like super focused and you know what you're building towards, and definitely more likely to accomplish it by the end of the year. Like I personally hate looking back onto like my old resolutions and seeing random stuff that I forgot about, or even, oh my God, God forbid, like really important goals that I just left to the wayside because I was like focusing on some bullshit instead. And unfortunately that has happened to me quite a bit, especially in the past like 2 to 3 years. I mean, I feel like I've been feeling lost for most of my 20s. It's kind of just like part of it, but especially following like a big dream, like becoming an artist and like that being my goal. It's just been like very, like, what does that even mean? Like a big question mark on what are my goals there. And because I didn't like really buckle down and focus on it, I burned out a lot because I was working really hard in like every direction and was never focused on like, hey, what are the actual things I need to do in order to be a successful artist, and what does that mean to me? So like this past year and like the year before that, I really just like fell off of YouTube. I really didn't do much with my business because I didn't know where I was going. I was working so hard and nothing was moving because I was just like moving not in a circle but just like in every direction, maybe half an inch. And recently I found that the more structure and more direction I give myself, the better things are for me and the more spontaneous I can be. And what I really mean by like that spontaneous thing is that if I feel like I'm making like real progress, like step-by-step progress to the real important goals, then I have like all of a sudden this like extra time, this extra bandwidth to be able to do all the goofy stuff I want to be able to do in the year. And that is like so nice and so freeing, and I don't feel like I'm wasting a bunch of time. So I don't know, I've just been feeling a lot better about this new structure I have to my life, so I thought I would share it with you guys. And the proof is in the pudding, baby. Like Peppercut Studio is doing well. I'm getting into the conventions I want to be able to get into, and also my YouTube channel is like back and like kind of alive. Like before, I think the best I ever did was post like once a month, and then I fell off for like a year and a half. And look at this, in the past like 2.5 months, maybe 2 months, I've been able to post like every single week. I mean, albeit I did skip like 1 or 2 weeks, but it's okay. Like that's pretty good for me. I think taking like a 1 week break every once in a while is fine, but for the most part, I'm posting every week, which is crazy. And look at me just chatting away, not even focused on what we are doing. We are moving on to the next section, which is the quarterly goals. And yes, we are breaking down our yearly goals into quarterly goals. And then from there, we're going to break it down into monthly goals, and even further and further down until we have daily tasks. This has been essential for me. I have really bad ADHD. Again, as I ranted about earlier, I lose focus really easily. I need a lot of direction. So the more we break things down, the easier it is for me to do. Also, it just makes things seem like a lot easier. Like if I say I want to, I don't know, launch an apparel brand by the end of the year, that's kind of crazy. But I am going to be launching apparel for Peppercut Studio sometime next year. But yeah, let's say you want to do that. Like that sounds so scary. That sounds so daunting. But if we break it down by quarter, like quarter 1, I design everything. Quarter 2, I get all my manufacturing like situation made. Quarter 3, we do sampling. Quarter 4, we have the stuff. That makes it so much easier, and the more you break it down, the easier it gets. Moving on to the next section, we are doing kind of like a memory log or like a monthly highlight log. This is probably the most reflective part of this yearly setup, where I really just want a place dedicated to me writing down each month what my favorite memories were. And yeah, I am definitely the type of person to like scroll through my photo album and see what I was up to, but sometimes I'm really bad about taking pictures, especially when I'm hanging out with my girlfriends. Like this is something I want to do next year. Another resolution, you might say, in the personal sector is to like take more pictures of me hanging out with my girlfriends. Like we don't have any pictures together, and I love them just like they're my sisters, you know? So I thought it'd be fun to like have a dedicated place to go to at the end of each month and write down what I really enjoyed. And I think this would be like really cute because my bullet journal is a planner and like part diary. So I think in the future it'd be really nice to look back in this and not have to read through every single entry I have in my bullet journal, but just to see like the highlight reel. And that's what we're really focused on, is being intentional with our time. That is the big picture of next year. Like part of my personal goals, something that went into that section, was to spend more time with my loved ones. And this is really mostly focused on my friends, because I do spend a lot of time with my family, which I'm very, very grateful for, and I don't want that to change. But in this past year, upon reflecting with my goals and stuff, I found that I really didn't spend as much time with my friends as I would have liked to. Unfortunately, we live in a late stage capitalistic society. So to me, this means that the money I make is used to spend more time with the people I love. And now finally moving on to the final spread for this yearly setup. On the left page, I made a little grid guide just to give myself a guide for the rest of the year so I don't have to count all the little boxes all the time. And on the right side, we are setting up our very first quarter of the year. So that's January, February, and March. And yes, I am doing this now because it just feels right to have it within the same theme of the yearly setup. But my quarterly setup will be coming out next week after this video. So if you're looking to set up your bullet journal for the first quarter, that will be the video for you. And yeah, I'm just like really excited to get started with this year and get started tackling some of these goals, which I forgot that I didn't mention any of the ones I'm going to be doing this year. So I guess I'll just like quickly go over some of my favorite ones. So next year, I am looking to hire help for Peppercut Studios. I'm specifically looking for more of like a personal assistant role to help me with the everyday shop stuff. So if you're available for that and you live in California, California, please let me know. I'm also going to be releasing new merch, which I'm super excited about. So for Q1, I'm going to be releasing notepads and memo pads and also washi tape. And on a more personal side, I want to be able to start donating money to a charity every single month. And the goal I have written down is 1K a month, which is a lot of money, which means I'll be making a lot of personal sacrifices, but of course it's worth it. So we'll see if I can actually accomplish that one. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my video. It means the whole friggin' world to me. It's unbelievable anyone ever makes it to even this part of the video. So thank you so much for that. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see anything else from me, subscribe to my channel. There's other stuff on there and I will continue making more stuff. If you guys want to leave me a comment, I love the friggin' comment section, so please leave me a comment and check out the description box below if you want to see anything else from me. There's other social medias down there. I'm very active on Instagram, and oh, my shop is there. So if you want to check that out, that is there. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Bye. Oh, and Happy New Year.